At my son's graduation party, I paid for everything: food, tent, decorations, even the DJ. His mother, my ex, showed up late, took the microphone, and gave a speech saying, "I raised him alone, against all odds." My name wasn't mentioned once. When I tried to speak, my son pulled me aside and said, "It's not that big a deal. Let her have this." I helped clean up while they took pictures without me. A month later, he asked if I could help cover his college books. I sent him a screenshot of her speech and wrote, "Ask the hero." My son Elijah graduated high school last year. He's 18 now. Good kid. Quiet, not too emotional, but sharp. He's always been more like me than his mother, Trina. That might be why we clashed sometimes. Trina and I got divorced when Elijah was 5. The marriage had already been cracking for years, but it officially broke when I found texts between her and a coworker. I didn't throw things or scream. I packed a bag and left. She stayed in the house, and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment on the other side of town. We went to court for custody and ended up with 50-50. I didn't fight her. I wanted Elijah to have both parents, and I didn't want to poison him against her. But Trina? She played it differently. She told people I abandoned her. That I didn't care. That I left her with everything. The truth? She got the house, the car, and child support on top of 50-50 time. I still paid half the school fees, took him to the doctor, helped with homework, showed up to every school play. I coached his little league team until he was too old for it. I drove hours for his away games in high school. When Trina got laid off for 6 months, I picked up weekend shifts detailing cars just to help keep them afloat. So yeah, I was there. I was always there. Elijah asked if he could have a graduation party at my house since I had a yard big enough for a tent. I said absolutely. I planned the whole thing. I paid for the tent, tables, chairs, and decorations. I even ordered custom centerpieces with his name and school colors. The DJ cost me $600. Food from a local barbecue place ran almost $1,300, and I made sure we had enough to-go containers so people could take leftovers home. I bought drinks, dessert, even hired 2 teenagers to help serve and clean up. All in, I spent just over $4,000. Didn't ask Trina for a dime. Didn't expect it either. She didn't offer. I figured she'd at least bring a gift or show up early. I was wrong on both. The party started at 2 p.m. People came in waves: neighbors, friends, Elijah's classmates, and teachers. Even my boss dropped by. The sun was out, the music was good, and Elijah looked genuinely happy. I was on grill duty for part of it, then spent time making sure everyone had drinks and was having fun. Trina showed up at 4:30. She didn't greet me. Barely said hi to anyone. She walked in like a guest of honor, in heels and a bright white jumpsuit, sunglasses on, makeup perfect. She brought a card and a bottle of sparkling cider. That was it. No food, no help setting up. Just the entrance. I let it go. Around 5:30, the DJ got everyone's attention and said we'd have a short speech or two. I had no idea that was planned, but I figured I could say a few words after Elijah, or maybe Trina did. She took the mic first. She stood under the tent, right beneath the "Congratulations Elijah" banner I had hung that morning. She didn't look nervous. In fact, she looked proud. Her voice was calm, but loud enough for everyone to hear. "Thank you all for coming. This day means the world to me, because I raised this boy by myself. There were times I didn't think we'd make it, but we pushed through. I made so many sacrifices, and it wasn't always easy, but we did it. He did it. And I'm just so proud of him." That was it. She talked for about 2 or 3 minutes. It felt like 20. I stood there with a plate of ribs in one hand and a cup in the other, frozen in place. People clapped. A few nodded. Some gave me weird glances, like they knew she was full of it but didn't want to say anything. My sister leaned over and whispered, "What the hell was that?" I didn't answer. I just waited. When the DJ started to hand me the mic, I took one step forward. That's when Elijah came up and stopped me. He didn't look angry. Just tired. "Dad," he said quietly, "it's not that big a deal. Let her have this. Please." I stared at him. I wanted to ask him, "Are you serious? After everything?" But I just nodded. Slowly. Then I turned around and walked back to the edge of the yard. I watched while they posed for pictures. Elijah, his mom, his aunts on her side. I wasn't asked to join a single one. When it was time to clean up, most people left. Elijah took off with Trina and her family. I stayed behind and packed up everything. Folded the chairs, stacked the tables, bagged the trash. The 2 kids I hired helped for a while, then I let them go early and gave them both an extra $20. I carried the leftover food into the house and turned off the lights. It was just me, standing in my kitchen at 10 p.m., staring at my son's graduation cake, untouched except for one slice. 3 weeks went by. No text. No call. Then out of nowhere, I got a message. "Hey Dad, do you think you can help with books this fall? They're more expensive than I thought." I sat there staring at my phone. I thought about the speech. The look on his face when he told me to stay quiet. The way I got erased from my own event. So I took a screenshot of the video someone had posted on Facebook, Trina holding the mic, her arm around Elijah, my decorations in the background. I sent it to him with a short message, "Ask the hero." He didn't reply. 2 days later, he called. Said I was being childish. That I was holding a grudge over nothing. He told me it wasn't the time to make a point. I told him this, I didn't spend all those years showing up so I could be told I wasn't there. I didn't pay for a party to be written out of the story. I let her have the mic, but I won't keep pretending I was invisible. He hung up. That was 4 months ago. About 2 weeks after that call, I got a letter in the mail. Not from Elijah. From the college. It was a parental contribution reminder notice, part of his financial aid package. Apparently, they had my income info on file, and since I was listed as a non-custodial parent, they were letting me know Elijah's aid was adjusted under the assumption I'd contribute a reasonable share. I almost laughed. Trina had filled out the forms that way. Claimed I wasn't involved day to day, so I didn't have primary custody, while still expecting me to pay when it mattered. The next day, I called the financial aid office. I asked if Elijah had listed me as a contributor. The woman on the phone confirmed he had. I asked her to note that I was not contributing. Not because I didn't want to, but because of a family disagreement. She paused and said, "We see that happen more than you'd think." Later that week, I ran into Elijah's friend Caleb at the gas station. He used to spend the night at our house all the time when they were kids. He said, "Hey Mr. R, haven't seen you in a while. You going to the send-off barbecue this weekend?" I said I hadn't heard about it. He looked confused. "It's at your ex's house. Elijah said you might be out of town or something." I wasn't. And I never told him I would be. So I showed up. Yeah, I know. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I just wanted to see with my own eyes how deep this story went. It was around 6 p.m. when I got there. Lawn full of cars. I parked 2 blocks away and walked over. No one noticed me at first. I saw Trina by the grill, laughing with her cousin. Elijah was taking pictures with some old teachers and his mom's side of the family. I stood there at the edge of the yard for a minute. Then I walked up to Elijah. He saw me. His smile dropped. People turned. Some awkward silence. I said, "Just came to wish you luck." Since I wasn't invited. Trina stepped in. "You're making a scene." I turned to her. No scene. Just saying goodbye to my son before he starts college. She looked like she wanted to argue, but Elijah stepped in between us. Dad, can we talk for a second? He pulled me aside, again. Same tone. Same tired face. I didn't mean for it to be like this. I asked him, then why is it like this? Why am I always the one left out, expected to pay but never remembered? He looked away. I don't know. It's just easier with her. She makes a bigger deal out of things. She needs it more than you do. That one hit me. She needs it more? I repeated. Yeah. I mean, you're always solid. You don't need the credit. She does. I nodded. Took a breath. So because I don't demand attention, it's okay to erase me? He didn't answer. I walked out of the yard, got in my truck, and drove home. Didn't look back. A week after that barbecue, I got an email from Elijah's college. It was from the housing office. Apparently, there was an issue with his dorm payment. He had used my credit card. My stomach dropped. I checked my bank account. Sure enough, there was a $1,200 charge to Midwest U Housing Department 2 days before the party I wasn't invited to. I hadn't authorized anything. I never gave him that card. But I knew how he got it. A few months back, he had borrowed my laptop to fill out scholarship forms. I didn't think twice, he's my son. I didn't log out of Chrome. My saved payment info must have been auto-filled. I felt sick. I didn't call him right away. I needed to be calm. I didn't want to yell, I wanted answers. I called the housing office and told them the charge was unauthorized. They reversed it and said they'd notify the student. 3 hours later, Elijah called me. Angry. Why did you cancel the payment? I kept my voice even. Because you used my card without asking. That's fraud, Elijah. I needed to secure the room. Mom was going to pay me back, she just hadn't yet. I asked him, why not ask me first? Why not send a message, call me, anything? He was silent for a second. Then he said it again. You don't get it. Mom's under a lot of stress. I didn't want to pile more on her. I laughed. Not a big laugh, just the sad kind. Elijah, I'm the one who's been carrying you. I paid for that party. I paid for every sports league, every camp, every shoe size change. I paid for a life you think she gave you. She was the one home, he snapped. She's the one who stayed. You left. That's when I felt something split in me. I didn't even respond. I hung up. I was shaking. 2 days passed. Then Trina texted me. You really reported your own son's payment? Classy. He's your kid. Grow up. I didn't respond. Instead, I called a lawyer. The same one I'd used during our divorce years ago. I asked her what my obligations were now that Elijah was 18. She told me, unless I signed something agreeing to contribute to college, I had no legal responsibility anymore. I asked her to draft a simple letter. In it, I stated I would not be contributing further financially. That any use of my name, cards, or accounts without my permission would be considered identity theft. I sent the letter certified to both Elijah and Trina. 3 days later, Elijah showed up at my door. Not a call. Not a text. Just a knock on a Saturday afternoon. When I opened the door, he was standing there holding the letter. You're really doing this? I didn't move from the doorway. Elijah, I've been doing this for 18 years. What I'm doing now is stopping. He looked like he wanted to say something cruel. Maybe he had a line prepared. But nothing came out. Just that hurt, confused look, like a kid who finally realized his parachute was gone. He left without another word. And I stood there, watching him walk back down the driveway. 2 months passed. No calls. No texts. Silence. Then, in October, I got a message from my sister. She forwarded me a post from Trina's Facebook. It was a GoFundMe. Help Elijah stay in college. It had pictures of him looking sad, sitting on a twin bed in a dorm room. The post said his absentee father had cut him off unexpectedly, and now he was in danger of losing his spot. It talked about how Trina had fought for years to keep things stable, how she was doing all she could, but now they needed help. It got shared over 400 times. People donated. People I knew. People who'd been to that graduation party I paid for. They had no idea. I called my sister. I told her, I can't let this go. She said, then don't. So I didn't. I wrote a comment under the GoFundMe post. I didn't curse. I didn't yell. I wrote it carefully. This is Elijah's father. I paid for his full graduation party, including food, tent, DJ, and decorations. I coached his teams, covered his braces, and paid support and more for 13 years. When his mother gave a speech claiming to have done it all alone, I said nothing. When he used my credit card without permission for dorm fees, I said nothing. But I will not be lied about publicly. If anyone wants proof of what I paid for, message me directly. The comment exploded. People started asking questions. A few close friends of Trina's commented things like, wait, what, and that's not what she told us. Trina deleted the GoFundMe within 24 hours. But it was too late. Word spread. Some of Elijah's friends started pulling away. The lies had a cost. About a week later, Elijah called. Voice low, flat. Can I come over? I told him yes. He came in and sat on the couch like he didn't know what to do with his hands. I waited. He finally spoke. I messed up. I nodded. Let him keep going. She twisted stuff. And I let her. It was just easier. Then he started crying. Full-on shaking, ugly sobs. I hadn't seen him cry like that since he was 8. I needed the money, and I didn't know how to ask you after everything. I thought if I made her feel like she mattered, she'd stop being so bitter all the time. But I pushed you out. I let him finish. Then I told him the truth. You didn't just push me out, Elijah. You made me feel like I never mattered. Like 18 years meant nothing. He nodded, wiping his face. I don't expect you to pay for anything now, he said. I just want to fix things. Even if it takes time. I didn't forgive him that night. But I told him he had to take down every lie, publicly. He did. He posted an update to everyone who donated. Told them the truth. Apologized. The money was refunded. He also wrote a new post, not dramatic, not blaming. Just honest. About how parents make mistakes, and sometimes kids do too. He moved off campus a few weeks later. Got a job at a UPS store to help cover expenses. Trina didn't help. She blocked me not long after all that. I still don't talk to her. Elijah and I were not the same as before. But we talk. He comes over for dinner twice a month. Calls me when he's stuck on something. I'm helping him build things back up, but only if he keeps telling the truth. And I still have that photo from the party, Trina holding the mic under the banner I paid for. It reminds me that silence isn't always strength. Sometimes, the best revenge is making sure the truth has a voice, even if you have to raise it yourself.